Today we're talking about the new view of safety and why Africa must join the conversation. Talk a little bit about the history of safety management, how that came about, and why we needed to look at safety as a profession slightly differently, why we needed to talk differently about safety and how that all came about. And as well, we're going to look a little bit into the future, what comes next. And this is one of the first times that we see this diverging of managers and workers. They used to be quite mixed and together. And from the early 1900s, it started to split. What he said is this fault of person was really caused by the social environment. And this could include ancestry. And I think we can all agree that blaming someone's ancestry or race on the fact that they had an accident is absolutely ludicrous. Instances can be quite difficult, especially if the environment is complex, if it's changing constantly, which a lot of our workplaces are. What the correct behavior might be today is not necessarily the correct behavior tomorrow. These actions really change the focus from the individual person within the safety system to the organization itself. And we see from these accidents, we have one of the first measurements of safety culture. Today, I'm going to jump into the new view of safety. The new view of safety, it's a bit of a misnomer. It's been around for a little while now, but it's really an umbrella term that has a lot of schools of thought underneath it. And they all share certain fundamental characteristics that are different from orthodox safety. People think it's a way forward, and that's really what we're going to be talking about today. Is it really the way forward for you? My opinion and my definition of what the new view is really that it's a shift in the ideas, the beliefs, and the fundamentals that underpin health and safety management. We look at what goes right and try to replicate that. Workers then are seen as problem solvers and their solution to harness. They have the expertise, they have the knowledge that you need to tap into to really understand what's going on in your system. The second principle is that blame fixes nothing. Blame is not seen as useful in the new view, especially in HOP. It is emotionally satisfying for us as humans, but is not operationally important. The organization doesn't get any better if we blame someone. It tends to misdirect resources, and those resources can be used more effectively to actually improve the system. Learning should always be made easy, because often what we learn is going to be quite messy and difficult and things that we don't want to hear. So we need to make the process of learning as quick and easy as possible. Drawing from his work in resilience engineering, Professor Eric Holnager started focusing those principles on safety. And this led to the development of Safety 1 and Safety 2. So what about the African voice in this? Like I've just said, these new view concepts are growing in support around the world, but has it really penetrated into Africa? And I don't think it has as much as it has in other places in the world. We know that investment in Africa is growing every year. We know that we're going to be creating more and more factories, more and more mines, more and more, places of risk. And I think we need to be a lot more proactive and see what works for us. Anyone who's lived in Africa for any amount of time, I've lived here my whole life, that some things that can be developed, in Europe or in the US or Australia and that don't work the same in Africa. We are a different continent. We see the world differently. We need to adapt these concepts to really represent our view of the world.